I'm Ken Iverson, co-owner of Iverson Family Farms and FS Oil. We've been growing hemp for this will be our 5th year. '19 was an interesting year. There was a lot of hype because hemp had been a crop that had growing the CBD for hemp, and after it became legal under the 2018 Farm Bill, a lot of people thought that it was going to be a crop where they were going to make a lot of money. There was a lot of high returns per acre. The thing that people didn't really do their homework on is they didn't find a market, they didn't find solid customer or partners to work with. And then they didn't make a plan of how they were going to dry their crop, what they were going to do with it after they harvested it. And so it turned into a kind of a train wreck for a lot of people in Oregon and in the Willamette Valley. The industry overall for CBD in the United States is probably a 20,000 acre industry, and there was probably over 500,000 acres grown in the United States in the last year. One of the most important things to look at in growing hemp is if it goes over 0.3% THC, it is going to be what's considered hot, and you're going to have to destroy the crop. And there's a lot of genetics out there where people say, oh, you're going to get 14 or 15% CBD. The reality is there's a ratio, and the ratio of CBD to THC determines how high of your CBD you can get. Most of the best varieties right now are only around 30-to-1 on a ratio of CBD to THC. So if you figure that out, if you get over about 9% CBD, your THC side is going to be hot. So these people going out and trying to sell genetics that they say you're going to get 15 to 18% CBD, that is not a reality. You also have to be aware of where you are. Hemp is a crop that flowers based on day length. And so one of the interesting things is in Oregon we're at a 45th parallel, and some of the states we compete with, such as Colorado or Kentucky, are further south in latitude from us. They flower very late here in Oregon, and our weather is wet lots of times in the fall. There's a lot more risk. So buying genetics that you know are going to flower and harvest in when you have the most opportune time to do a good job and be successful is really important. You know, the history of growing CBD hemp, a lot of the technology came out of the marijuana industry, and that's a boutique crop. And we looked at this crop as an industrial crop, and we need to learn how to be able to scale production and also be very efficient in our production. So as we looked at harvesting and things, the first year, you know, we didn't know anything about it, and somebody says, well, you just hang it to dry it. We did that for one day. We had 18 acres and realized with 18 acres there weren't enough buildings in Clackamas County to hang 18 acres. We had to figure something out. So we switched to more of an industrial type harvest where we chopped the plants up, took them to a hop dryer, and dried the biomass out, and turned it into a mechanized process rather than the hand process. If you don't get it dried in a timely manner, it will mold on you and go bad. This crop, once it's cut, it's breaking down and is losing quality. So it's being able to handle it efficiently, quickly, and get the job done. What's fun about this crop is it's a crop that has not been, you know, really grown or dealt with for 80 years. And so we have to figure everything out on, you know, and figure out how to do this. Everybody has a different idea how to do it. You know, a lot of people will hand harvest it and hang it. You know, certain areas like in Central Oregon where they don't have a wet fall like we do here in Western Oregon, they're able to cut it and let it dry in the field, and then they're able to run it through a combine like you would combine grain or something with, and actually separate the wood material from the leafy and flower material. And that works very well. I mean, it's a slow drying process where their terpenes are maintained. Here in Western Oregon, we don't have that option unless we grow autoflower and can harvest it in the summertime. So everything we harvest has to go into a drying facility to get it dried quickly. A lot of people didn't have their drying figured out last year, so they did what was called a wet baling process, where they chopped the hemp and they wrapped it in a plastic bale with a high pressure. And we see really mixed results in that. If it's not done properly, the material gets a very bad smell, and when we extract that, it goes through the whole process. It makes an oil that's not of good quality. And so it's just one more reason why you have to really make sure what you're doing is the right thing, and do your homework. Somebody will tell you this works great, but make sure you check it out.